Hey guys, it's Lancespeaker here, and today I'll be reading All Lovely on the Western Front by Herolunchboxes. Wartime was over, and they were finally free. Having lost so much, Paul and Kat deserved to have gained each other. I don't know what it is about Kat that attracts me. Perhaps it's his broad, stooping shoulders, his muscular frame, or maybe his deep, calm, resonating voice. I've always felt safe around Kat, even when angry bullets and raging artillery flew around us. Kat was my escape, my home. Though the war has stripped everything from me, my family, my friends, and my youth, Kat always stood by my side and comforted me when I needed it the most. It was peacetime now, but I didn't see how I could even feel a bit at peace. Not when they were all gone. Kropp, Mueller, Jadin, Kemrich, they were dead, and I had grieved for only a couple of days before Kat appeared before me and gave me a warm, brotherly embrace. I say brotherly, but Kat and I had a strong connection. A strong relationship in which we were more intimate than lovers. Everything about him drew me closer to him, made me love him more, and I didn't mind it one bit.
Paul, wake up.
Kat's voice tickled Paul's ears, causing him to whimper in protest to the odd feeling while stirring, which only sunk him deeper into the soft bed. The older man chuckled, shaking his head as he did so, and leaned closer to the sleeping figure.
You ask for it,
he whispered in that deep voice of his quickly before sticking his hands under Paul's sweater, skillfully tickling every inch of skin on the younger male's body. "Stop it, Kat!" Paul protested weakly, his hands grasping at Kat's arms and pulling him closer. Their faces were mere inches apart, and both of them breathing heavily from the excitement.
Gosh, kid, you don't have to be so damn rough.
Kat smirked down at Paul, his eyes tracing the smooth contour of his jaw. What a sight Paul was. Laying there under Kat, cheeks flushed, skin moist with sweat and lips wet from licking his lips all the time. God, this kid would be the death of him one day. Feeling a bit embarrassed, Paul quickly released Kat's callous hands and rolled over to avoid his gaze. "What do you want anyways?"
I want you.
Paul's eyes widened just a fraction, his pale cheek staking on a reddish hue, before he caught himself and buried his face into his pillow. "Don't say things like that," he spoke in a muffled voice as he hid his embarrassment.
Why not?
Kat countered in a husky tone, his lips finding their place against Paul's clavicle. When he heard Paul's sweet gasp of surprise, he smiled, planting butterfly kisses around the kid's neck and collarbone.
Why shouldn't I say it when it's true?
Paul didn't answer, unknowingly awakening a violent beast in Kat.
I don't mind if you play hard to get either, you know. As long as I have you writhing beneath me asking for more.
Skillful hands worked their way down, tracing Paul's slim figure and stopping at his narrow waist. The older male toyed with Paul's waistband, tugging at it playfully.
If you don't say anything, I won't know what you want, Paul.
Paul wasn't sure what he could say. An image of Kat and his family flashing into his mind. He felt a horrible, dreadful feeling in his gut as he fought to keep back a moan as Kat continued to touch him. How would he explain this to Kat's wife if she were to find out? He couldn't very much say. "You see, we developed a relationship that exceeded those of a married couple. Sorry about that." Just thinking about that made him want to cry. Kat seemed to notice something was wrong, however, when Paul stopped reacting to his administrations. The older man frowned, propping himself up with his elbows, still hovering over the sweet boy.
What's wrong?
He whispered, brushing a stray strand of hair from Paul's face and then stroking his cheek lovingly. Paul shook his head, worrying his bottom lip. "Kat, what about your family?" He closed his eyes, waiting for Kat to realize that this was wrong, especially when he had a wife and child waiting for him to come home.
What are you talking about?
Kat smiled, leaning in and kissing Paul's forehead. "I haven't seen my wife for years." Wait, wrong voice. Kissing Paul's forehead.
I haven't seen my wife for years. My baby girl doesn't even remember me anymore. And you're the only thing that matters right now. Don't worry about such a thing, all right? You know I never do something without thinking about it first.
His words calmed Paul down, his shoulders relaxing.
a smile gracing his pink lips.
Oh, thank goodness. I was sure you were going to leave me,
He whispered, closing his eyes. Cat shook his head, pushing Paul's sweater up and pinching a pert nub. This is punishment for doubting me. The dark-haired man growled playfully before closing his lips around the smaller man's nipple, twisting the other in his experienced fingers.
Cat, not so sudden.
Cat simply grinned as he shifted so their foreheads were touching, lips brushing against each other. You know you love it, he whispered, planting soft kisses on the corners of Paul's soft lips. You're beautiful, Paul. The older male chuckled when the man under him blushed darkly, knowing how sensitive his slender lover was to his words. When he diverted his gaze shyly, a strong hand cupped Paul's cheek, turning his head so that he was once again facing Cat. I love you more than anything. His eyes were serious this time, causing the younger male's breath to hitch in his throat, his eyes widening before his blush darkened, reaching his ears. I love you too, Cat, Paul whispered softly, a soft smile gracing his lips. Oh, you're too cute. Cat growled playfully, his hands making their way under Paul's sweater once more as he crashed their lips together for a passionate kiss.
Oh my. Oh my god. Well, I I hope you enjoyed that, kiddies, because with suggestions, there'll be more to come. Anyways, I'll see you guys later, and thank you for Mr. Lee for suggesting this story. Anyways, it's Lance Speaker here, and I'm out.